Thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll get started in just a moment as few of more participants would join us. Everyone, and a warm welcome to today's live workshop. Build an enterprise AI agent in 15 minutes. I'm Sneha and will be your host for today's session. Before we begin, just a few quick housekeeping notes. The recording will be shared to all the participants. We recommend using headphones for the best experience. And if you have any questions during the workshop, please drop them into the Q&A section. We'll address them towards the end of the session. Giving you a quick context of the session here, AI has quickly moved from experimentation to business priority. Today, the question isn't whether the organization should adopt AI. The question is how to turn AI into measurable business outcome. The challenge isn't access to AI anymore, it's execution. So what's happening today is most teams today work across multiple applications, disconnected workflows, and manual processes that slows down productivity. This is where AI agents comes in. AI agents can connect systems across enterprise knowledge, automate tasks, and help teams get the work done faster. In today's workshop, that's why we're going to show you exactly how that works by building an AI agent live using Kenome's no-code AI agent builder. And the best part, you'll see a working AI agent built in approximately 15 minutes. Like no coding, no lengthy implementation, just a practical demonstration of what's possible with agentic AI. To lead today's session, we have joined by the team Kenome, behind Team Kenome. First, we have Achintya Gupta, co-founder and CEO at Kenome. Achintya has spent the last few years helping enterprises leverage emerging technologies to drive business transformation. He works closely with CIOs, business leaders, and innovation teams to move beyond AI experimentation and build AI-powered solutions that deliver measurable business impact. Joining him is Ayan Agrawal, who's leading growth at Kenome. Ayan works with organizations that are looking to adopt AI and helps them identify practical ways and possible use cases. He regularly works with teams to uncover automation opportunities, simplify workflows, and improve day to day businesses. So, welcome, Achintya and Ayan. Over to you.
I would like to thank everyone once again for joining into the first Kenome webinar. So let's just start right off. So we won't spend more than 10 minutes on this deck, but just to give you a quick overview of the platform, we'll quickly go through the various capabilities and features, and then we'll get right into the demo and the agent building part as well. Covering what agentic AI is first, and then we'll move to some of the problems enterprises face, and then how Kenome helps in solving these problems, and then we'll go over the features of the platform as well. Mm. Also, the compliance and governance aspects of the platform, because we are, of course, an enterprise-focused platform, so that is a pretty big focus on our part. And then finally, we will be showcasing what agents we will be building and demoing today. Bots, which were simply chat interfaces which answered your questions when you typed them in chat. No knowledge, no tools, and no capability of doing any meaningful actions, right? So this was your initial days of Chat GPT, Claude, etc. But then AI agents started spreading all over the world. These AI agents could essentially connect to knowledge bases within your enterprise and different systems within your enterprise to complete tasks. And these were still pretty manual, where we would ask an AI agent to do a specific task and then it would go ahead and do it. But then from these AI agents, we started to reach the agentic AI age. And agentic AI is essentially where multiple AI agents work together across various systems with shared knowledge and shared memory to accomplish complex tasks autonomously. These agents can run 24/7, for example, and keep a track of your inbox, or maybe keep a track of your document repositories to understand when it should update its memory, right? And they can then collaborate with each other to maybe accomplish some cross-departmental workflows. And Kenome as a platform is built from the ground up to support the creation of these agentic systems within your enterprise. And these agentic systems are created in a completely no-code manner within Kenome. So the idea is, of course, that we can build these systems within minutes instead of weeks or months using the Kenome platform. We already have integrations with over 500 tools available in the platform, and we have deployed it at various customers who are using it to automate work across every single department that they might have. Now, there are many problems most enterprises face when it comes to data and AI, right? All teams within any enterprise are working with their own tools that do not communicate with each other. Sales has one set of tools, HR has their own set of tools, and so on and so forth. This causes a lot of data silos to be formed within your organization, preventing management from having an overarching view of what's actually happening within their enterprise, both within AI and otherwise as well. And consumer AI platforms in general, they also bring a lot of compliance and security risks due to data leaving the enterprise ecosystem, public AI models training on their data, etc. Right? And along with all of this, there is repetitive work everywhere within an enterprise, right? Any employee doing the same task again and again for months. And these are the sorts of problems that cause costs to rise. It causes slower execution and leads to a lot of risks. And this is the sort of problem that Kenome is trying to solve within any enterprise. So how does Kenome actually help? So Kenome is the one trusted place for all of your agentic AI needs, right? One platform to connect to various existing systems within your enterprise and essentially orchestrate data and agents across all of them and start automating workflows. The AI agents that we create on the Kenome platform, they can be built in a matter of minutes, not months, using our no-code AI agent builder. And along with this, these are all production grade AI agents. So you have complete human in the loop and governance over what these agents are doing, right? You have complete activity logs and guardrails as well. And given that we are an enterprise focused platform, we are focused on security as well. The Kenome platform and their agents can be deployed on the cloud, but they can also be deployed on premises within any enterprise, along with integrations with private LLMs as well. So not just the frontier models like GPT or Claude, but also any open source models that you might wish to utilize, like Quen or Gemma, or any private LLM that you yourself might have developed. And from the various customers that we've deployed the platform at, from the US, UK, and India, we have seen measurable business impact across various different parameters. We have seen, for example, 30% reduction in operational costs and thousands of hours saved across various teams. Report generation is a pretty useful use case that a lot of our customers use the platform for, and we have seen a 90% reduction in such use cases. So quickly about the features of the platform, right? So of course, we have our no-code AI agents that you can build in the platform. Along with that, we also have something called AI playbooks. So within any enterprise, there would be a set of standard operating procedures, right? For example, your customer support representative might have a set number of steps they might need to take to resolve any customer query, right? We can translate those steps or those SOPs into playbooks within our platform, where once we have the repeatable workflow designed in the playbook, we can define agent personas to work towards each and every step and automate that entire workflow end to end. So this is essentially an implementation of multi-agent orchestration within our platform, which, as I mentioned, is one of the hallmarks of Agentic AI. Along with our agentic AI features, we also feature intelligent document processing within the platform, which essentially allows your organization to translate the scanned documents images into digital data, right? Any historical documents that you might have that you may wish to digitize, or any physical incoming documents that you might need to extract some specific data from, for example, invoices. And another great aspect of the feature is directly built into the platform is the capability to run all of these agentic AI features automatically. We can schedule our AI agents and workflows to run maybe daily, hourly, weekly, however you might prefer. Or we can configure webhooks with these systems to ensure that our agents are responding whenever something changes within your systems. We also have human in the loop built right into the platform. And this human in the loop is not just accessible through the interfaces within the platform, but also as notifications that can be sent maybe to a chat interface like Teams or WhatsApp, or maybe via email, so that you don't need to keep opening the platform to approve what the agents are doing. Finally, we also do feature live agentic dashboarding within the platform, so that enterprises and teams can track the outcomes of the various agents and also track their performance in real time. Governance aspect of the platform. So in terms of the compliance and regulations, the platform is compliant with SOC 2 Type 2 and also EU GDPR compliant. We also have certifications for ISO 42001 and 27001, and we're also pursuing HIPAA compliance for our healthcare focused customers. When we talk about governance, there are mainly two aspects to governance. One is the platform governance and one is the AI governance. Under platform governance, we actually feature a complete and comprehensive admin dashboard, allowing admins to configure SSO within the platform to allow their employees to access the platform using their organization IDs, configure role-based access control, and manage the data retention policies and any integrations that they wish to enable or disable. When we talk about AI governance, we reach things like LLM management within the platform, human in the loop, uh, setting any mandatory approvals for AI workflows, agent tracing, so you can always track exactly what the agent did, what tools it called, and in which order. All of these security features are built directly into the platform, and I would love to showcase them for you as well. So with this platform, it is essentially a horizontal platform, right? It is connecting with all of your systems, your various data sources, databases, and it can automate workflows across all the departments that might be there within your enterprise and any verticals that your enterprises might be working in as well, right? So it is a completely horizontal platform, the one suite you need for all of your departments. Now, that concludes the overview of the platform itself. During the demo, I will be creating an agent for you live to showcase how quickly we can build these agents. And then I do have some further agents that we will be demoing. Uh, a fraud detection agent to detect anomalies in transaction data, a support email analysis agent, an end-to-end invoice processing playbook to showcase our OCR capabilities to reporting capabilities, and also some data extraction using our intelligent document processing feature. So let's get right into the demo now. Platform. And there are many aspects to this platform, which I'll quickly walk through, and then we'll get into the agent building itself. So this right here is the Kenome chart. You can think of this as like a general agent for your enterprise. All the integrations that you connect, the data sources, the databases that you connect with the platform, they are all accessible through this one chat. So for example, if you wish to conduct maybe like an enterprise search query across all of the data in your enterprise that you can access, of course, you can do so through this chat, right? Or if you have some simple use cases, maybe look at my calendar and prepare a report or a meeting brief for the next meeting that I have, right? This chat is capable of doing these things as well. So kind of like a much more capable chat GPT for your entire enterprise. However, when we talk about more specific workflows that we wish to automate or more specific use cases, we generally recommend going towards our custom agentic AI features. But before we do anything on the platform, we first need to connect, of course, our various data sources. So if I come over to the integrations page, as you can see, we have a number of integrations available directly within the platform for demoable purposes right now. This is, of course, a subset for this demo deployment. However, it does cover the various categories, right? If we talk about IT and development, we can see that we have GitHub and Jira integrations, collaboration-based integrations. So for example, Teams, Slack, Outlook, and maybe some sales integrations if that's what you're interested in. We have Salesforce available, HubSpot available, etc. So the various different aspects of an enterprise all covered through this one integrations page. And the good part is to connect to any of these integrations, we just simply need to click the login button, and you just need to select, in this case, since I'm logging into Outlook, your Outlook account, and it will be connected. You don't need any further setup from a user perspective over here. Now, another great aspect that I would actually like to highlight with these integrations is the fact that we are not duplicating or cloning any of your data onto the platform. What often happens is when we connect to such integrations, the platform in question might go out and start indexing the various data. So, for example, indexing all your files in OneDrive. But in our case, we don't do that. The AI agents on our platform only have access to what you can access as a user, and they will only be accessing that information during runtime. So you don't need to worry about data duplication within your enterprise. Your data stays where it is. Along with the integrations, we also have our collections feature. And this collections feature is essentially a RAG capability that we've built into the platform, where we can define various different collections for different types of documents that we might have. Think any sort of leave policies, security policies, maybe some project-related documentation that you might have. And once we have these documents uploaded, for example, on the platform, we can then make these collections available to our AI agents as knowledge bases. So whenever an AI agent might be conducting or doing some task, it will always have that overarching context related to what it might be doing through the collections that we have. But now that we have connected our integrations and collections, we can come over to the My Agents page. And this page right here is where we can essentially, where me as a user, I can see what agents I currently have working for me within this organization. And before any further ado, let's actually get right into how we can create an agent. So if I click this create new button right here, pops our agent builder interface. And there are a number of tabs within this interface that we can utilize. But in this case, let's start building a support email analysis agent. So as I mentioned, that was one of the agents we will be demoing today. The purpose of the support email analysis agent will be to essentially read my inbox for any unread support emails or customer queries that I might have received, and then categorize those queries according to the set categories I have defined and prioritize those emails as well in terms of how quickly I should respond to such emails. And then at the end, it will give me a report of the various emails it might have categorized. And it will also create an agentic dashboard to help me track what this agent has processed. And the output is actually sent to a database as well. Or in this case, for the purpose of this demo, I'll be using a Google Sheet. And this is actually an agent that we have deployed live at an insurance company within India. So let's get right into it. So as for name, we'll just quickly name this agent as support email analysis. We'll give a quick description for this agent as well. So it's just a support agent that helps to analyze support emails, right? We can configure maybe an LLM over here, and then we can give this agent some instructions. Now, keep in mind that this platform is entirely based on the idea that we can create no-code AI agents. And this is reflected in our instructions as well, where, as you can see, that I have just defined my instructions in English, right? Step one, fetch the emails. Step two, check if if the sheet, in this case, the Google Sheet, has any data previously. And then step three, step four, step five. And then we can actually come to our tools tab. So I have provided the agent instructions, but we actually need to give this agent some tools so that it can actually access all the relevant data sources, right? So if I click this add button right here, we will see a list of all the integrations that we currently have enabled within this platform. And the very interesting part is that for all integrations, we have a number of tools available. So for example, if I were to look at Salesforce, right? We have 67 tools available for Salesforce within the platform. So the idea is that once you have connected an integration, it's not necessary that all of your AI agents will be able to do everything within that integration, right? If you just want the AI agent to read emails, right? For example, in Gmail, I just want this AI agent to fetch emails, right? I'll just give it the fetch emails tool. I won't give it the create draft or maybe send email tool at all. So you don't need to worry about your AI agent doing something out of the ordinary with these platforms that you're connecting. Similarly, for the purposes of this demo, let me also connect the other tools, in this case, the Google Sheet tool to append values, and also my dashboarding tools so that my agent can create charts within the dashboard I defined. So I can give it right here the update dashboard chart tool, the create dashboard chart tool, the list dashboards tool, and also the get chart details tool. Up and running, right? Before I move forward, I would like to quickly go through the other tabs that we also have over here, right? We have the skills tabs to add any agent skills that you might have defined, which are essentially detailed custom instructions that you can build right into the agent, allowing it to dynamically access these instructions and understand how to do a complicated process. We have the link collections tab, which can link those collections and policies that I showcased previously. We also have the sub-agents tab, as I mentioned, that this platform contains multi-agent orchestration. So all the agents that you previously created can actually be added as sub-agents to this one main agent that you might currently be creating. And the good part is when you add these sub-agents, right, the main agent is intelligent enough to identify when it should call which sub-agent. It's not like every single agent will be called every time, right? It will only be called if it is required. So there is that intelligence built right into our agents as well. For now, I'll remove them as this is a single agent system. We can also define some variables if you choose to have some specific values fixed within your prompts. And if you have any external MCP servers that you wish to connect, we can connect those onto the platform as well. So we have complete native MCP support built in. Finally, let's actually create this agent. And I created that agent, and we can see it showed up in the My Agents page. Before we run this agent, let me quickly show you the dashboard that we will be using as well. So I already have created a processed emails dashboard. Currently, of course, it's empty, but let me add that agent into this dashboard as well. So I'll select my support email analysis agent. And now this agent will be able to access this dashboard. So now actually, let's start running this agent. So I'll just say analyze my emails. Mhm. And now we'll be able to see what steps this agent takes. So while the agent is running, as we can see, we are receiving a thought trace for that agent as well. So what the agent is thinking, what tool calls it's doing with the relevant request and responses as well. So you as the user do have complete auditability into how this agent is operating. And this information is actually available to the admin as well. So for example, if something does go wrong with an agent, or it might do some unintended task, the admin does have the capability to go back and audit what the agent did, why the agent did what it did, and how we can solve it, right? And of course, for now, I am running this agent manually, right? However, I will also showcase a scenario where we can actually run this agent autonomously. And the idea behind this agent is, of course, that this is a background agent, right? It'll just run in the background. It will keep processing these emails, categorizing them, prioritizing them, and maybe drafting responses for them on your behalf as well. So we can see over here that the agent has finished processing. And in this case, it picked up 10 emails from my inbox and it categorized them in these categories. So these are actually insurance-based customer queries, right? So these are emails for complaints, address changes, claim-related emails, service requests, and they have been categorized accordingly. They have also been prioritized, as we can see, urgent being the most important emails to respond to, and low and spam, of course, not being as important. Then this agent has also generated the charts that I talked about. One is a category distribution chart, and the other is a priority distribution chart. And the great part is that these charts that are generated by agents on the Kenome platform, they are interactable. So I can actually hover and see what the number of emails is, and I can also filter this chart out. If I go over to my to my Google Sheet right here, we can see a summary of all the emails that it has currently processed. And if I were to go to my dashboards over here and move to the processed emails dashboard, we can see this has now been populated. And the good part is, right, it's not like everybody needs to create their own agent within your enterprise to access such a dashboard. Once this dashboard is created and managed by that one agent, I can share this dashboard with other users within my enterprise. So we don't need to have everybody creating their own agents. That would obviously be a governance nightmare. But that is how we can create an agent within the platform. I also have another agent, a fraud detection agent over here, which I would like to run for you guys. And a unique aspect of this agent actually is if I go over to the configuration tab and go over to the connect tools tab over here, we can see this agent actually has a custom tool called transaction anomaly detector. And this tool also is actually built completely within the platform. So if I were to go to my custom tools tab right here, and open the transaction anomaly detector, we can see that this is actually a workflow builder. And the idea behind this workflow builder is that if you do have any completely deterministic tasks that you wish to automate, we can do so using this workflow builder. And the good part is these workflows that we create, right? They can of course be run independently, but they can also be published to be exposed as tools to our agents, like I have done in this case. And over here, as you can see, this workflow actually does not have any LLMs at all. It has a code block to execute this Python script, and it has and then it outputs it onto the LLM. We can also use this custom tool to maybe call some custom APIs. So if you do have a custom tool an internal tool, for example, that you wish to automate with the platform, but we don't have integration for that yet, you can use this custom tool builder for that. Or maybe if you have some ML models within your enterprise that you wish to automate, that you wish to use within your agents, we can implement those over here as well. But coming back to the agent, let's run this agent for your reference over here. That we can see a live execution trace of what this agent is doing and what thoughts it might have over here. I will very quickly showcase how we can set up schedules and webhooks, and then I will hand over to Ayan for a showcase of our playbooks feature as well. And that will be in regards to the invoice processing use case that I talked about. So we can see in this case, our custom tool has been called by this agent. And once that custom tool execution is completed, we will get a result of the various transactions that I have uploaded and how these transactions may or may not be fraudulent as well. Does complete its execution, all of the relevant payment records will be added over onto this Excel sheet right here. Let me quickly showcase the scheduler and webhooks feature of the platform as well. Uh, if, for example, if we do wish to create a schedule, we can click this create schedule button. We can choose the target type, so maybe an agent, a custom tool, or a playbook. We can select which agent. We can select maybe I want to run this agent at an interval, maybe daily, or even weekly. And I can choose maybe an input message over here. I can just click create, and the schedule is up and running just like that. Similarly, we can also configure webhooks within the platform. So for example, if I click the new webhook button right here and choose custom agent, again, I can choose which agent. And in this case, we can choose which integration or tool we want this agent to track. So if I want this agent to track Outlook, for example, we can select Outlook and then I can choose what events I wanted to track. Maybe a mail being received in my inbox, a mail being deleted from my inbox, or maybe a mail being sent. Whatever we wish to track can be tracked over here. And just like that, we can create our Outlook webhook as well. Hand over to Ayan, and Ayan will, of course, go
Over
over
one of
one
our
of our
playbooks
playbooks
features.
features.
Hi everyone, I am Ayan. I am the growth lead for Kenome. So, custom agents are basically for general uses. However, we do have a feature called playbooks, which are in case you want more deterministic flows, or maybe there are some standard operating procedures in your enterprise. So I'll head on to the playbooks page, right? And basically, how playbooks work is that you create a team which comprises of your agents, in which you can actually give them a persona, you can give them a tone or an expertise, and then your entire work, you can basically define it in the form of a play, which is basically a step-by-step workflow, which gives you the complete granular control over it. So basically, this playbook is one that we had created for one of our customers. They were facing an issue in which their finance team was spending an enormous amount of time basically reading invoices, extracting the details from it, and validating them. So, with the help of this playbook, we essentially help them automate all of that work for them, right? So, I'll run one playbook invoice for you right now. I'll just give it an input like process this invoice. Right. Now, the good part is that I can see the exact workflow happening right in front of us right now. So I can see that the workflow has been defined in multiple steps, in which the first step is OCR extraction. So basically, the invoice that I've uploaded is basically an image in which the first step is now extracting all of the essential information that we require from the invoice, right? And you can see that all of the information has now been extracted from it. Then we'll move on to scene two, which is the second step, in which the extracted information is basically being validated against a source of truth, which in our case right now is Salesforce, right? Then we'll move on to scene three, which is invoice verification. So this step basically it deals with the verification of the calculations. It checks that everything that has been extracted is mathematically correct or not. And if everything seems to be correct, we get a result of validated, and then it gets logged on to Google Sheets. But of course, it can be logged on to whatever your internal tools or your database system is. And then it also updates the dashboard for us. And in case there was a rejection, it will give an email. right? So for this case, I can see that the invoice that I uploaded was not rejected. So there was no email required in this case. If I'll head on to the dashboards, I can actually see that my dashboard has been updated. And if I'll go on to Google Sheets, I can see that the invoice I uploaded has actually been validated, right? And it contains all the necessary details that I want. So this playbook basically helped us automate all of that work. I'd also like to give emphasis on one of our features, which is bulk runs. So uh, basically, bulk runs helps us run our agents, our playbooks, or our custom tools with multiple instances in parallel, right? So if you have, uh, for example, I have this playbook, I can basically give it an input and I can select multiple files at once. So I don't have to manually, run every single invoice one at a time. So this feature essentially helps us run a lot of data together. I'll hand over back to Achintya.
Of playbooks. Now, of course, I would like to mention, right, that during that playbook run, Ayan actually had a step where he conducted OCR on the various invoices that were being uploaded. And I would actually like to drill a bit more down into how we actually did that OCR, right? And for that, we actually utilized our intelligent document processing feature. And this right here is the feature. And the idea behind the feature is that, again, let's say you do have a set of scanned documents that you wish to digitize using the platform, or maybe a set of invoices in case of that playbook that you wish to extract relevant data from. We can utilize this intelligent document processing feature for that. And we've actually implemented just this feature at a lot of our customers. And this feature is capable of processing over 5,000 to 6,000 documents each and every day, depending on what resources we provided, right? And how does it actually work? So right here, we can see that this is a set of documents that I have extracted, right? And if I go over to my schema presets, I can actually set some fields that I wish to extract from various documents. So for example, if I'm doing vendor onboarding and I receive vendor onboarding documents, I can set a number of fields. For example, I want the bank name, I want to extract the IFSC code, etc. I can even classify multiple different types of documents coming into to this feature at once, right? So the idea, of course, is that for now, I will manually upload a document and show you. However, this feature is capable of pulling in various different documents from your document repositories. It might be something like Amazon S3, or maybe an internal document repository that you might be utilizing. We can see a preview of this document right here. So we can see that this is a scanned document. It contains some information related to a fictional legal entity that we've created. I can choose my specific OCR extraction pipeline right here. And this again can be both on-prem LLMs, or it can also be any cloud-based LLM that you might prefer. If I quickly scroll down right here, I can also select the schema preset that I wish to, so the information I wish to extract from this document. I can set maybe some field confidence scores to understand if any field extraction is below a 75% confidence, that specific field should be rejected. And then I can just click this start extraction button. Once this extraction completes, we'll see what the actual result looks like over here. But we can keep pulling in these documents automatically. For example, the bulk runs feature that Ayan just showcased, right? Over there as well, we had uploaded the documents manually for demo purposes. However, if you do have a document repository, or maybe even something like a Google Drive folder that you wish to pull these documents from, we can configure that directly within the platform and start pulling those documents whenever they might get uploaded. And once this output is finished, the output we receive, it will of course be shown to us in our human review, in kind of like a human review viewer. But also after it is approved, it can then be sent forward to maybe our collections feature for logging into our knowledge base, maybe to an agent directly, which was true in case of playbooks. right? Where it can then start do further processes on the specific document, or it can be sent to an external system as well via an API. So this is what the extraction actually looks like over here. And we can see that the pipeline that we've created, it has identified the various different elements within this document. So for example, this right here is identified as a table, and this is a heading. If I were to click on this table, for example, we can see in the extraction part of the document, the entire table has been digitized for your reference. And the good part is that it maintains the structure of this extraction. Along with that, if I were to go over to the schema stats tab over here, the schema that we uploaded, which were the fields that we wanted to extract from the document, those can also be viewed over here. So we can see the state in this case is Maharashtra, and that corresponds to the address over here as well, and the state a state field over here. Accordingly, we have a number of fields that have been populated within in our schema by extraction from this document. And let's say, for example, one of the extractions was unsuccessful, right? Maybe it misspelled something, or maybe one of the pin codes was wrong. I can actually just click this actions button right here and edit the extraction. Once I have edited the extraction, I can mark the document as verified. Once it's verified, the extracted data or the digitized document will go through to the next step. Again, maybe an agent, maybe our knowledge base, or maybe an external system of the platform itself. I hope you like the demo. And I suppose back to you, Sneha.
Thank you so much, Achin and Ayan, for that insightful session. We saw how quickly organization can move from AI discussions to AI executions by building agents, which our team just showed now, and automate workflows and drive real business outcomes. We'll now open the floor for questions, and please continue posting your questions in the chat, and we'll just pick it up as many as possible. So let's begin with the questions. Let me quickly take one question. First is, what agents use cases do you see the most with Kenome?
I can answer that.
So, with our agents, we have actually deployed the platform at various different types of companies, right? We have deployed the platform at a telecom company, at a major telecom provider in the US. We have also deployed the platform at a property tech company. And because of that, we do see various different types of use cases. But if I were to talk about what scenarios we deal with a lot. One of our most popular features is definitely the document processing feature, where we extract relevant data and send that forward to an external system in bulk. And another use case that we do very often see is the sort of use case where we showcase using our playbook, which was invoice processing. And it's of course not just limited to invoice processing, right? It can be essentially verifying any set of data, choosing an internal data source or a source of truth that you might have, and sending that verification forward, right? So these sorts of workflows where there's a lot of manual review required for verification, those are one of the first use cases to be automated with our platform. But it is actually not just limited to that. We also do work with a lot of log analysis or data analysis based use cases.
I hope that answers your question. Next question we do have is, once a business user builds an agent, who maintains it? Do we eventually need technical support for that?
I think depends on the type of business you are, right? So we as a company do of course provide support with the when we do deploy the platform at your enterprise, right? But let's say it's a small business, maybe like a startup of, let's say, even 20 employees, right? Users can maintain their own agents, and that is one of the greatest aspects of the platform, where any agent that you create in a no code manner. And then if you want to in the future upgrade that agent to maybe interact with a new system, you can do so yourself. You don't necessarily need technical support for that. However, if you do require any assistance with building agents, or maybe just kind of understanding how the platform works, right, we are always there to provide technical support, and we do provide trainings as well if we are deploying the platform within your enterprise.
I think the next question is, which we get it all the time. What's the real difference between a Kenome agent and AI chatbots or co-pilots we already have in our system?
These differences between a Kenome agent and AI chatbot is the fact that a Kenome agent is accessing a lot more of maybe what you want it to access within your enterprise. So if I let me go a bit deeper into that, right? Let me take Copilot as an example, right? It's connecting to your various Microsoft systems, right? But if you look at, for example, Copilot in Outlook or Copilot in Excel, those copilots are just limited to that platform. Whereas with Kenome agents, they can connect to all of these platforms at once. And another great aspect is that Kenome agents support running with private LLMs. A lot of these cloud platforms, right? They are limited to the LLMs. You are limited to the LLMs they provide. For example, any GPT, Claude, etc. But all of our customers so far have actually taken on-premises deployments from us, and all of them have actually also requested integration with their own private LLMs, and that's something that Kenome agents support. And finally, I would like to mention that standard AI chatbots and copilots are limited to the platform they're built in. However, with Kenome agents, we can actually export these agents for use in external systems. Maybe you want to talk to an agent through your WhatsApp or Teams, or maybe you wish to integrate your agent entirely into your internal business tool, right? All of these sorts of use cases as well can be enabled using Kenome agents.
Sure. And the next question is, what languages are supported in Kenome?
So, Kenome does support a number of different languages, right? However, we have fine-tuned our agents to support a number of Indic languages, think Hindi, English, Marathi, and also many popular foreign languages. So if we think Spanish, German, French are ones that we actively support, and we also support some Asian languages, mainly Chinese and Japanese. So of course, if you do have maybe a specific language support that you might be looking for, we can work together on that. Or if that actually answers your question, then I'm happy that it does.
Sh- So next question I got is like means Kenome is a SaaS, right? That you're providing, correct?
So Kenome, we like to think of Kenome as more of a platform as a service, right? Generally, we recommend that if you are an enterprise who can take the platform on premises, we recommend you do that because of the data security aspects and the benefits. However, if you are looking for maybe like a seat-based SaaS model, that is also something that we do provide, and that will in that case, of course, be managed by our team, where we are managing the platform, and you can take teams from specific seats from us. So the business model of Kenome can be kind of should I say tailored to what your preferences might be.
So the next question is, if we deploy Kenome on our own infrastructure, does any of your data ever leave our environment, and are our documents used to train the model?
So that's the best part having a platform like Kenome on your own infrastructure, right? It's that the data will not actually leave your enterprise, especially if along with the platform we are also deploying an LLM for you. Because in that case, what's happening is that the agents are on premises, they are querying the LLMs that are also on premises for you, and the only data that is not on Kenome is the data that was already present in your existing systems, right? So no, your data will not leave your environment if you have deployed the platform on premises, or maybe on a private cloud that you might have, right? On a second part, no, your documents are not used to train models using Kenome. Of course, we can maybe configure a training pipeline for a local LLM that you might wish to train. However, when we're integrating with cloud models, no training takes place at all.
So just the last question, Achintya, now. So we have had a IT block AI tools before. So what does Kenome give IT to actually approve it? Like some of examples are like integrations, governance, deployment. What are these?
I briefly covered this during the platform demo as well, and we will be conducting a future session to cover our various admin features. However, as an overview, right? So the admin dashboard within Kenome, it allows you to manage the entire life cycle of an agent, right? So who is allowed to build an agent at all? Once the agent is built, who can actually share that agent with others and deploy that agent externally, what the agent is doing for each of its runs using the agent tracing feature that we have, maybe restricting the agent to always ask for approval when doing certain sensitive tasks. Those are the sorts of controls that the admin does have and can implement within any agent. Any sort of approval workflow that you might wish to implement. For example, if I have created an agent and I am sharing it with my colleagues, the admin might want that agent to be an approved agent, right? Those sorts of integrations and controls are present as well. Another great admin control that is present is the ability to configure service accounts. So as you saw during the demo, I configured an integration using my own personal account. However, if I am sharing an agent with, let's say, the entire enterprise, the admin might want a service account configured over there because you don't want your personal account to be shared with everyone, right? So that is also a control that the admin does have.
I think we have gone. That brings us to the end of today's workshop. As a thank you for attending, we are offering a complimentary 30-day Kenome trial. And to get the access, simply fill out the form using our organization email ID. Our team will review it and share the trial access to you with all the details. So please keep an eye open for on your inbox. And I really hope today's session gave you a practical understanding of how AI agents can help organization to automate work, improve productivity, and accelerate business outcomes. A special thank you to Achintya and Ayan for sharing their expertise and demonstrating how quickly an enterprise AI agent can be built and deployed in just front of you. If we couldn't get your question today, so our team will follow up separately on this. And thank you once again for your time, and we look forward to seeing you in the future Kenome events. Have a great day, everyone.